Chrono Trigger's been around for almost 30 years now, and it's honestly one of the most beloved RPGs of the 90s decade. It came out during the SNES era, right before 3D gaming was starting to get popular. And and honestly, it shined during a time period where the PS1 was starting to, become more and more popular, and the SNES console started to be looked at as obsolete to some people. And you look at Chrono Trigger, it's a game that ended up selling more than the likes of Super Mario RPG, Secret of Mana, Final Fantasy 4, and Final Fantasy 5. And for whatever reason, we have not gotten a official remake from Square Enix in relation to Chrono Trigger. And the closest thing that we got to a remake of Chrono Trigger was Chrono Resurrection from, I guess, late 2004. It was pretty much I believe that was an unlicensed game that basically got shut down because it was like a cease and desist letter from Square Enix to the developer of Resurrection Games, but it looked beautiful before it got shut down. It was released for GameCube, I believe, along with PC, and it was actually a 3D Chrono Trigger game, because the thing is we never got an official sequel to Chrono Cross, at least not that I know of. And Chrono Cross is actually a pretty good game. A lot of people had nothing but good things to say about it, but the thing is, the sales was poor, because I think by 1999, people had lost interest in the Chrono series. And the thing about Chrono is that the Chrono series took a backseat to Final Fantasy, um, the Final Fantasy series, because after Final Fantasy VII came out back in 1997, it seemed like this series had this unexpected surge in terms of popularity. Because I think Final Fantasy VII ended up becoming one of the best selling games for the PS1. And in terms of how much it actually did in relation to sales, I believe it was somewhere around the ballpark of at least 10 million, in terms of sales in the PS1. So obviously, Square Enix turned more of their attention to the Final Fantasy series, and it's been like that ever since then. And honestly, even though Final Fantasy was a huge attraction back in the late 90s, early 2000s, it seemed like the series has kind of lost its luster over time. Even though Final Fantasy 15 was good, Final Fantasy 16, the most recent installment, it was good, but at the same time, it didn't sell as much as many people had hoped, and especially Square Enix. But as far as Chrono Trigger is concerned, I do feel like that's one of those games that should have gotten a 3D remake a long time ago, because I don't think there's a Switch port for Chrono Trigger. And honestly, I believe Secret of Mana got remade, not too long ago. And it's like, well, if they're gonna remake Secret of Mana, why not remake Chrono Trigger? You know what I mean? Because I feel like if they did that, that's something that would at least do 1 or maybe 2 mil in terms of sales, because it's something that a lot of people have been waiting for a very long time. And basically, if it happens, it's gonna be one of those things that ends up trending on Twitter/X, or and on social media. I honestly feel like it's gonna be something that lights the gaming world ablaze, because they already remade Super Mario RPG, and that's something that a lot of people never thought would happen. And look how much mainstream media attention that's gotten. Even though Chrono Trigger is not as big as the Mario name, I do feel that it's an RPG that would definitely draw heads if it definitely got a remake or anything like that in the future. But yeah, does Chrono Trigger deserve a remake? Absolutely. Is it going to happen? I have no idea, because you look at the fact that it's been around for almost 30 years, because it came out back in 1995. 2025 is going to be the 30-year anniversary of the Chrono Trigger game, when it came out. And honestly, Square Enix should definitely do something special for Chrono Trigger. in 2025. But the thing is, we have no idea um if Square Enix ever is ever going to like do anything with Chrono Trigger or anything like that. They should definitely acknowledge it, because if they were going to do a 3D remake of Chrono Trigger, you would think they would have done it like back in like 2015 or something like that. But they haven't really like done anything with Chrono Trigger. And I don't expect there to be a brand new Chrono game anytime in the near future, because it seemed like a lot of people just lost interest in that series altogether. Um, but yeah, honestly, like it's a shame that Chrono Trigger never got a 3D remake, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people, including myself, feel like that's something that Square Enix should definitely prioritize in terms of its 30-year anniversary in relation to 2025.